To change your money mindset, what is going on, YouTube family? Welcome into this video today. So I kind of sat down and I was thinking what I wanted to do for this video, and I know I've done a lot of stock news, a lot of stock breakdowns, stock analysis. I've done a lot of those lately, and I really wanted to bring some value to maybe some newer investors or new people that are just getting into the finance market and deciding they really want to take control of their financial future. And I don't do a ton of those videos because they obviously don't do that great with the algorithm. If you go look at those, I don't get nearly as many views as I do with, say, stock news, stock analysis, those type of videos. But I also want to bring a lot of value, as much value as I possibly can, to those newer investors out there too that really just need to take that first step to really change their mindset, because I feel like a lot of people have the ability to be successful in the stock market and investing and in building wealth. But the problem is, and the problem I see, they don't take that first step, and they just need to flip a switch in their mind to take that first step, and a lot of people just don't do it. So I'm really hoping this video helps some people flip that switch in their mind and take that first step to building wealth and changing their financial future and all those great things. So if you do get some value out of this, please drop a like on the video. That would really help out our teeny tiny channel massively. Also, if you want to subscribe, go ahead, make that push to 1K subscribers. Also appreciate that as well. So to start off this video, let's look at how most people structure their life. And if you do this, if this is something you've done or this is something you plan on doing, there's actually absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's just not what I want to do after doing my research, developed my own opinions, which you should also be doing. So at the end of the day, there's really nothing wrong with it, so don't feel bad about it by any means. So most people, they go to high school, right? And they go to college because that's what they're taught to do. Go to college after high school, you need to further your education. Now, I know in the business world, college does get a bad rep, but I really don't think it's all that bad. I mean, I went to college, I did on my undergrad, I went to grad school, so I really don't think it's that bad. But I will say that at the end of the day, I think I took more lessons from college that didn't include the material, as opposed to things that I actually went to school for. So I did learn a lot in college, yes, but more so towards just life lessons, not so much of the textbook and materials like that. Trust me, I would fight that to my grave. So maybe I'll make a full video on that another time, but not right now. So anyway, once you get out of college, you have a job. You get a job and you're very excited about it, but you need to get this job for a lot of reasons. One, to start your life, your career, but you've also got to pay off your student loans. Now, student loans are another thing I feel like get a really bad rep. I feel like at the end of the day, student loans can be good if it puts you in a position to make more money, and it's actually a calculated risk, if you know what I'm saying. So I feel like a lot of people just take out student loans because that's what they think they have to do. Maybe that's what their parents did, maybe that's what their friends are doing. They get, I guess, peer pressure in a way, and that's what they really think they have to do, is put themselves in tons and tons of student loan debt to get this degree, when in reality, that's not the best move in my opinion. But definitely there can be an opportunity cost taking out a student loan, in my personal opinion. Now, granted, I'm kind of going off a rant here, but when I was first going to college, I didn't really think too much about student loans either. I'm very fortunate not to have them, thankfully, but most people, I guess, just don't take that calculated risk into consideration, is what I'm trying to say at the end of the day. But student loans can definitely be good. Anyway, getting back on track here. So once you get to college, you get a job to pay off these student loans. Now, maybe this is the first time, 22, 23 years old, whatever the case may be, you're working full time because you were busy with school, whatever the case may be. So you have more money than you've ever had before. Maybe you're making 50, 60, 70K a year. Maybe you're making six figures, whatever the case may be, when you get out of school. So you decide you've been driving that beat up, whatever it is that you've been driving, that hunk of crap. So you decide you're gonna get a new car because you can afford it. You can afford it. So you buy this new car, this 2021, whatever car you're buying. Then you decide, maybe a couple months down the road, maybe a year down the road, whatever the case may be, you decide you want to move out of your parents' house. So maybe you decide to buy a house, maybe you decide to rent a house, whatever the case may be, you decide to get out. And by the way, I know I got a lot of backlash from a couple of my friends about that buying versus renting video that I made. There's really nothing wrong with buying. I feel like in a lot of cases, buying actually makes more sense, and buying could very well be better. But at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of people rush into buying that really don't need to. I feel like there's other things that people can do to build their wealth in order to really put themselves on a fast track for life. And I feel like a lot of people don't do that because they feel like if I rent, I'm throwing money away. But that's honestly not the case at the end of the day. I was just trying to show the other side of the story. Anyway, getting back on topic here. So you decide to move out, maybe you rent for a couple years, and you live like that for a couple years. You're making your student loan payment, you're making a car payment, you're paying your rent, and everything's fine and dandy. Then maybe you decide, all right, it's time to buy a house. Maybe you meet a significant other. Maybe you just decide, all right, I'm ready to really settle down. I know where I want to live. I want to live in this state. I want to live in this town. You've decided. So you decide to buy a house. Then maybe if you did meet a significant other, whatever the case may be, you decide maybe it's time to start talking about having a family and having kids. So then all of a sudden you have student loans, you have a car payment, you have a mortgage. Then you've also got, lifestyle fun things you want to put into the equation. Then on top of that, you've got a family and kids, and now obviously they've got to be fed. Now they want to start playing sports, they want to start doing stuff, and before you know it, you are in way, way, way over your head, and finance and building wealth is the last thing on your mind. And you don't even want to learn about taking control of your financial future or learning about building wealth because you have all these things. You have all of these stressors thrown into the equation. So by throwing in another stressor, which is money, which is a huge stressor and arguably maybe the biggest stressor out there, it's just way, way, way too much to even comprehend. And I feel like this really leads to a lot of people thinking and believing that retirement is an age, and it's not an age, it's a number. But by the time you realize that, it's too late, and you've taken on all these liabilities, you've taken on all these bills, and it's just too late to do anything about it at the end of the day. So obviously, do your own research, develop your own opinions, all those great things. But this is, in my personal opinion, and this goes out to really everyone in, late 20s, early 20s, 30s, whatever the case may be, anyone that wants to change their financial future. By the time you get to 50, that is not the time to start thinking about retirement. It's time to start investing for retirement. That is not the time to do it by any means at all. By the time you get to 50, the work should be done, in my personal opinion. The work should be done. Because you should be starting this in your 20s. Heck, you should be starting it before you're 20. You should be starting it very, very early on. A good example here, and I'll link this video if I can remember down in the description. I watched a video from Usain Bolt. Obviously, you don't have to, I'm sure almost everyone knows exactly who Usain Bolt is, but it's him, he's running on the track, training, and he ends up throwing up, and someone asks him, you're telling me the race is not hard? Or it's something along those lines. They say, he's like, the race is nothing, the race isn't hard. And so someone asked him, what are you talking about? The race isn't hard. He's like, the work is done. The work is done by the time you get to the race. That's the easy part. The hard part is the grind that you don't see behind the scenes. The grind is the hard things that you have to do when no one else wants to do them. That's the hard thing. And thinking of retirement is the same exact way. When you're in your early 20s, mid 20s, that's the time you have all the energy. That's the time you don't have as many liabilities. That's the time to buckle down, to double down, and really put all your time and all your effort into doing everything you can to grow your wealth. Because by the time you get to 50, you don't want to be worried about, am I going to be able to retire when I get to 65? No, you don't want to worry about that. You want to, take a random Tuesday off and go to your kid's basketball game. You want to take a random Wednesday off and take your kids to go see the Red Sox. You don't want to have to worry about pinching pennies. You want to get to that point when you're in your 50s where money doesn't matter. Your wealth has expanded so much that if you don't mess up and you just stay on the plan that you created, money will not matter. But many people do think that retirement is an age, and it's really not. Think of it this way. If you're 45 years old and you have $5, $6, $7 million to your name, do you have to work to age 65? No, you don't. You watching this video can technically retire today. Doesn't matter how much money you have. You can have $5,000, you can have $5 million. You can retire today. Might be very hard. I don't know how long you're going to be able to last if you only have $5,000 in your mid-20s, but you can retire today. It's a number. It's not an age. So here's how I look at money, and we went over exactly how most people look at money, but the way I look at money is a tool. Money is a tool that gets you to where you want to be. That's very important. Look at it as, say, a U-Haul. When you're moving from house A to house B, you're using that U-Haul as a tool to get you to where you want to go. You're going from point A to point B. It's not about dropping that U-Haul off at 18 different gas stations and letting all these people use it and spreading it out to all these different people. No, you don't do that. You use it to get where you want to go. Another analogy that I've said on the channel before is look at your money, your hard-earned money, those dollar bills, as employees. Now, when you work for a corporation, when you work for a business, your main job is to make that business money. And if you're not, then you're probably going to be out the door, to be honest, or things aren't going to be too well with you. So take every single dollar and treat it as an employee. Where can you put that money? Where can you put those hard-earned dollar bills to work for you and make you money? Is that in a savings account? Is that in a depreciating car? Is that in a house that's over your head? Is that in stocks, real estate, different types of investments? That's for you to decide. That is for you to decide. My job is to just get the wheels turning in your head. Now, personally, and if you fall into any of these categories or anything of the things I've talked about so far in this video, don't feel bad. There's really no reason to feel bad. I'm just a random guy on the internet. If you don't agree with me, then just forget about it. Like, this is just an opinion. It's not a fact at the end of the day. It's just an opinion, and we're going over what I see. But anyway, I feel like a lot of people that I see, they decide to front load their life, or backload their life rather. They decide to backload their life. Now, what do I mean by that? It means they want to take on all these material things. They want to have this new car. They want to have this really big house. They want to have that in their 20s and their early 30s. Why? When you have your whole life ahead of you. I would much rather, and this is what I'm doing, front loading my life. I'm going to put in all this work in my 20s and in my 30s, so when I am 40 and 50, the work's done. I can be on a beach, like in Mexico, like still making tons of money, because the work's done at the end of the day. And there's no reason you can't do the exact same. You just have to change that mindset and flip that switch to realize to not go down this path that maybe is not the best for you financially, that maybe is going to set you up to be like everyone else. If you want to do great things, you have to do the things no one else wants to do, and you have to have that mindset that no one else has at the end of the day. I would love to have a nice house one day. I'd love to have, I don't know how I feel about having a super expensive car, but I'd love to have a Tesla one day. I'm putting that off until later, until I'm like 50. Why? Because I'm putting all the attention I need to put towards building wealth now. And that's the key. Do it now, so later you're on cruise control. So to really summarize the whole point of this video, look at your job as it is not your job. Whether it's a 9-to-5, you're a freelancer, your job is not your job. Investing is your job. Building wealth is your job. Where can you put yourself, what situation can you put yourself in so you can better your job, so you can better your wealth, so you can better your investing career? Do you need to change jobs? Do you need to change who you're around? Do you need to change what you're doing at night before you go to bed? What do you have to change in order to be in the best situation for your job? So to end this video, and I know this video kind of turned into more of a rant than I thought it was going to be, so sorry about that, but I really hope this does help change your mindset, and maybe it'll help you take investing and personal finance more seriously when you realize how society essentially sets you up to fail at the end of the day, in my personal opinion. But to end this video, I kind of want to give a couple of tips that I really think can benefit you, someone who maybe is a newer investor out there, someone who wants to start taking investing more seriously, someone who wants to really take control of their financial future and not just wait until they're 50 to be like, oh shoot, I have nothing saved for retirement and I am in a lot of trouble because I'm going to have to work minimum 30 more years until I can retire. Anyway, so the first one I came up with is don't feel like you need to spend money. Now, what I mean by this is obviously you want to spend money to enjoy your life, to have fun. That's important because you don't want to just sit on the couch and do absolutely nothing with your life. No one does, unless you just enjoy doing that. But anyway, that's besides the point. So when I say don't feel like you need to spend money, I'm basically saying don't put yourself in over your head just because you can. So if you're making, over 6 figures a year, don't feel like you need to go buy a $750,000 house because you most likely don't. Chances are in a lot of situations, that $250,000 house, that $300,000 house is going to be just as good and treat you just as good as that $750,000 house was. And what I see with a lot of people that own these houses is there's just so much room. There's literally nothing. Like all those rooms are vacant. There's so many areas that are just going to waste. So personally, I would rather have a smaller house because I'll get more use out of it per square foot, I guess you could say. So don't be afraid to not put yourself above your means. Don't be afraid to not put yourself in over your head. You can definitely stay above water, absolutely. Secondly, invest every dollar you can. This is very important for a lot of reasons. The more you invest, the more you're gonna make. Now, obviously you don't ever wanna get to a situation where you're 100% in the market like we've talked about in previous videos, because that's not good. That's not a good feeling at night because you might have trouble sleeping, and I don't blame you. It's probably not a good feeling. I've never gone all in, I never will go all in, but probably not the best feeling in the world, I'd have to imagine at the end of the day. So invest every dollar you can reasonably. Don't just leave, all that money in a savings account to get devalued, in my personal opinion. If you have $10,000, consider putting, $1,000 in to start if you're a newer investor, something you can stomach, maybe even $100. But the thing is, every single dollar matters. Maybe you don't have $10,000. Maybe you have $1,000. Put $50 in. And then every time you get paid, put another $20 in. Just start. What's the worst that could happen? Humor me on this one. Humor me. If you have $1,000, just put $20 in. And just put $20 in after every check. And just see what happens. Humor me here. Just humor me. Lastly, don't procrastinate. So when I procrastinate on things, usually they're just not that important to me at the end of the day. They're things I can just put off forever. Because if something's important, I'm going to do it right now. Like, for example, today I got up and filmed this video. It was important to me. I did it right now. Today I got up, and once the market opened, I bought some stocks. That was important to me. I didn't wait till the market closed. I knew I wanted to buy at the prices they were at, so I did it right then and there. That's important to me. If you're procrastinating, it's probably not important to you. So I guess I could also add to that, treat it as a priority. Don't just put it off and be like, oh, I'll get to it next year, next month. If you really don't have any money to invest, if you don't have $20, $10, $5, $1 out of your check to invest, spend time learning. Spend time learning about the stock market. Spend time learning about the real estate market. Spend time learning about different types of investments, different avenues, different pathways you can take to turn your money into money. And I promise, if you guys do that and then you put those practices into reality, you're not going to regret it at the end of the day. Any of you guys, in saying that, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you don't mind smashing that thumbs up, that would really help the channel grow, and I can't ask for any better thank you than that. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Help us make this push to 1,000 subscribers. We're getting there. We're almost halfway there, so I'm going to be really excited. Once we get to 500, then eventually 1,000 one day. Let me know down in the comments if this helped change your mindset at all. I know this was, like I said before, just a really big rant, but this is something I've really been thinking for a while, and I really just wanted to push this video out and just kind of get it all off my chest. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully you guys got some value out of it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day, guys.